This is the 31st Lap Podcast, recorded live in the studios of FingerLakes1.com in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now, your hosts, Rich Post, John Baumes, Mike Mallet, and Chris Marquardt.
Good evening and welcome to the 31st Lap. I am Chris Marquardt. Joining me in the studio tonight, we've got everybody. John Baumes, Mike Mallet, and Rich Post.
The ghost.
Yes,
Yo.
the ghost. No birthday party.
I'm not here.
So
No
can we
Casper?
I'll have to do the old. He does exist.
Don't call me that.
What, Casper?
Casper.
Don't call me that. Somebody else already.
You are wearing a white shirt.
Tonight we're coming
You
to
did call you a ghost.
from
Yeah.
the lavish FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca
Is this still
Falls.
lavish?
Thanks so much. Oh yeah, look at it. How could it not be?
Yeah, I guess I'll give you that. It is.
It's nice in here.
It's
Come on,
super
better-
awesome in
it's
here.
better than doing it in the parking lot.
Well, tonight it's cold
warmer.
out.
Yeah, well,
It is not warmer by
That
much.
is a plus. It is warmer in here. What do you mean by much? What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying it's not warm in here.
It's fine in here.
You don't think the shower curtain holds a lot of heat?
Listen,
Yeah, it radiates
Whoa,
heat.
what did you do to your camera, John? What
give
you
us
doing?
about
Oh, I gotta fix
10
it.
minutes,
What
Mike.
did I
John's
do?
looking over his left shoulder right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man.
I haven't touched it, so I don't know.
We got a stack show tonight.
You
Former
should have
Lucas
that set
Oil
up.
Empire Super Sprint champion Steve Poirier is going to be joining us. We've got a full recap of all the Florida action. We've got some Oswego Watkins Glen International Motor Racing Research Center news coming up. We got all sorts of stuff going on. First of all, welcome back to everybody. And Mike, how was your trip? Mike was down in Florida.
Freaking tacular.
On the road.
I
Racing
tell you,
season's in full swing for him.
It sucks being home. It's cold. It's rainy. Snowing. I'm done with it,
right,
man.
right,
I'm
now,
totally,
right now, I'll take the rain over snow.
I'm totally done with it.
It was a beautiful speed weeks. I will say that like the entire 12 days.
It couldn't have
I think
gotten.
it was
Whoa,
maybe
whoa, whoa,
one
whoa!
night.
One day,
One night got rained out, and that was it. That was way up in
Well,
the beginning.
but one day on Sunday, the prior Sunday, not the Sunday I came home.
Yeah.
The prior Sunday, the high was like 51, which doesn't feel cold until the sun goes down and it's like 33,
Yeah, but
and
there
the
was no
wind.
weather.
No, there was no rain, and I guess
The weather was beautiful. down there.
I can't complain because there was no rain.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, the weather sucked here, Mike.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm rubbing it in.
Yeah,
That it was
it's
that
okay.
awesome.
Now the racing season is going to get its unofficial kickstart a week from Saturday week from tomorrow at the Gator Show.
Well, how about Saturday? I'll be at Lincoln, so I'll be
Saturday,
starting.
yeah. Well,
They've already got a race in.
They already got a race in. That's right.
How did that happen? That they got a race in and Mike wasn't there.
Because I was
Because he
in
was in
Florida.
Florida.
At
But did
another
they
sprint
clear
car race.
this with you? I mean, did they clear this with you?
You know what?
It seems
I
like-
allowed. Well, what happened is ever since Speedweeks has moved back a week, they now run.
against the opener.
Well, it's not. There's no 410s, so
Yeah.
it was 360s. Yeah, there was 360s in Florida, obviously, but there was no 410s in Florida. The 410s run the first weekend I'm
Right,
down there, and
right.
then you have a week, and then that's that. So, so it was good. I mean, they ran. They only had like 17 cars. It rained. Well, actually, if you saw pictures of it, it was not a nice, pleasant day in Lincoln. But I always give Lincoln props because they do everything in their power
To get that
to
opener
race,
in.
and they
Yes, they
got the
do.
show in. They only had 17 cars, but the Edge, Brian Monteith won. And if you haven't seen the clip
Surprise.
on Facebook or YouTube of Corey Haas's flip down the front stretch, that was pretty impressive.
I did not see that.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. Pretty impressive to say the least.
We'll
So,
get into some of that result stuff here a
Nice.
little bit later on.
yeah, that'd be
There's
good if I had
tons of stuff.
Yeah, I wish I had internet because I don't, but I'm trying, and
I don't.
I don't, and I got the password. I got all this stuff. I was gonna be all high tech tonight and look cool. I mean, I can't even look cool. I mean, and I need all the help
you
I
look
can
cool
get.
if you would get the laptop out of the way.
No,
and
no,
stop
I don't want
covering up your
anybody-
Sweatshirt.
Yeah, everybody at home can see what I wore just to be a
That's a
smart
nice
ass.
hoodie you
He
got there.
finally noticed.
I know. I
You're
rode all the
you're
way out
welcome,
here in a
John.
vehicle with him, and he didn't notice. And of course, Rich blurts it out. I want to see how long it was going to take Baumes to realize I'm wearing a Brady Bacon sweatshirt.
He said it before you even got out of that car.
I know. He saw it. I was like, "Nice Brady Bacon
Believe me,
sweatshirt."
I
Wait,
wouldn't-
you jackass!
I would have noticed it as soon as I saw you.
You know,
out
when
of
you're
the car.
when you're keeping secrets, you got to tell somebody else when you don't want us to say.
Well, I didn't
something.
think you were going to be here, so I didn't think I had to text you and tell you.
Oh,
I know, right?
that's a good
Aren't
call.
they
He's
racing
got-
somewhere right now?
Yeah.
He's
Okay,
got
why
a
are you
point.
here?
We
I
never
know.
know.
I know. It's like, you know,
I like being unknown.
Come on, that was kind of funny.
it was funny. I am funny. So yeah, it was a great time. You know, I really enjoyed myself as always. I mean, come on.
Well, how can you not? You're in
10
Florida,
straight
for Christ's
days of
sake.
racing or 9 straight days of racing. I got the double in one day. I went to that abominable modified race.
Well,
after
then you left and missed the better race.
I don't care. I was done. You know what? My frustration level, like you get to a point sometimes where you're peaked out on how much BS you can deal with.
If I had paid for it, I ain't leaving until the crap was done.
I went up and
I
I saw a good late model feature up at where was it? Where'd I go? Volusia. There we go. That's the only night I got to double in though. I will give Volusia credit. They were done first almost every night that I was down there. Other than that night that I went, they would have been done before Daytona because Daytona couldn't even get one feature done before they were done. But
Yeah.
And what I gather, reading the stories and stuff, it sounded like the surface was
pretty
really good.
The nights I was there, it was awesome.
Maybe a night or two where it got locked down there.
It was, the couple nights the sprint cars were there, it was really cold. So what happened is it's so damp in Florida when it's at night when it's cold, and the moisture just came right back up through the track, and it was just stupid fast. I know people hate that phrase, but it was stupid fast. So, I mean, the racing was good. I mean, it was Slide Job City, going there balls out, and here I come, So I thought the racing was pretty good. I mean, for me, I'm a big sprint car guy, so I enjoyed it, of course. And then, I did some wingless stuff just for you, Baumes.
You should.
It was fun. I enjoyed the wingless stuff, too. I got 2 nights of Bubba.
You're even wearing a wingless shirt.
I know. It's just because I like the car. I don't like him.
He's a convert now.
No, I'm just wearing it because, again, I got
you
him.
like the car because it's got a wing on it.
No, I like the car because of the colors. And I said to the guy I was sitting with, actually, at Bubba, I go, you know what would make that 69 car even cooler? He goes, what? I go, put a wing on top.
Well,
you know what? Maybe if I was good with Photoshop, I could Photoshop a wing on top of the mean green 69.
There you go.
Dude, that would be sweet. I'm working on it. That's my next mission now.
Well,
Put a wing on top.
Since you brought the computer, you can work on that now.
I can't even work on the internet. I want to get in the chat room tonight and have some fun with that. But
John's got all kinds of stuff. He's been having fun like crazy, putting together the Dick Dragon Motorsports.
Yeah, I've been working hard to getting prizes together for
everybody. Get comfortable. You got
for this year's fantasy.
You got 8 minutes. Good luck.
We got a nice little list of prizes here so far, and I'm still working on more stuff too.
You're wasting time.
We've got Dino. Dino got a hold of me today. ESS is donating the 30th anniversary T-shirt and Lucas Oil tee and hat combo. I talked to Brett Deo a week or so ago via email. He's going to give us a couple of T-shirts, I think. I'm not real sure what he's going to do. I'll see him next weekend at the show. Craig Ravel gave us a Finish Line Web Design hat. Corey Reed is going to do the same program he did last year with the Brewerton and Fulton Speedways. We're giving away tickets each month leading up to the Hurricane 100, and then we'll do tickets to the Hurricane 100 at Brewerton. Ransomville, Tana Robinson gave me a family pass for Ransomville Speedway. We did that last year as well.
She's going to be on the show next Thursday.
She's going to be on the show next Thursday night, yep. Brett Hearn is going to be a celebrity driver in the celebrity driver program. He agreed to do that, and he's also given us a pair of tickets to the Big Show 5 at Malta.
If he wins, I'm booing him. Just out of
so that's different than normal how?
Yeah,
well, normally I wouldn't boo him, but I'm just saying I want to make it.
I'll say it. I'll go out there on a limb. I'm okay with it.
I got confirmation this week from Big Diamond Speedway. I got a pair of tickets, $30 value combined. You can use them at any show, and if you go to an extra money show,
pay the difference.
You just pay the difference.
Nice.
So it's not just restricted to a regular show. So we'll be giving those away. Today I got confirmation this afternoon just before you and I met tonight, Mike. Mercer Speedway has given me 4 tickets to their August 17th BRP Tour SmackDown event.
Wow.
Yep.
Mercer. Is that
Mercer.
a Saturday?
Mercer Raceway Park.
Sunday, isn't it?
That is a Saturday, I believe. August 17th is.
I might have to check that out.
Yep, Mercer Raceway Park.
Never been there.
Really?
We got a ton.
No.
I've been there once. Actually,
Never.
twice. The second time I got rained out. But,
Keep going.
But anyway, Northeast Racing, NortheastRacingVideos.com has given me
6
tons
minutes
of videos. We got a list of videos here for DVDs. The top 3 in the overall final season points will receive the 2013 Eastern States Weekend complete coverage.
Nice.
Of the entire weekend.
Wow.
Fourth and
That's not
fifth. Fourth and
Comes
fifth.
with 3 passes included.
Fourth and fifth in the final
Talking
points.
about the cars.
Receive the complete weekend package of the King of the Catskills at Accord. Because the Northeast Racing Videos is the videographer at Accord and Orange County. They're also donating to the one team that has the most combined points in all the races at Orange County and Accord that are on my Fantasy League schedule will receive the entire library of 2013 from both tracks. One team will win the whole season at both tracks on DVD. They are also donating to the top 3 children who are playing in the game that are 18 or younger. The top 3 in the standings of those will get the Tempest Fusion 2013, which is their crash video. They're also donating to the highest female finishing players that are in the league. Top finishing female will receive the Eastern States weekend. Second highest female will receive the King of the Catskills weekend from Accord. That's all by northeastracingvideos.com. There'll be also for female players. There'll be Sensi gift cards, Pampered Chef gift cards that we're giving out.
Pampered Chef.
Yes.
Is this still a racing league?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I was
There's
just
women
checking.
that play.
And then, of course,
John's wife.
like last year, I talked to Jeff Hockman this afternoon, got all that deal done. He's doing the same thing he did last year.
That's right. In lieu of payment for John's work at Rolling Wheels.
He will be giving away 2 tickets to Super Dirt Week with parking for the entire week to the person that is leading the standings at the I believe the
Right
date
before?
was September 2nd, I think was
Nice.
the cutoff, which
Wow.
would be like Monday, Labor Day, or whatever day it was. And also, we're going to be giving away 4 tickets to Rolling Wheels for the World of Outlaw Late Models 358 Super Dirt Series doubleheader at Rolling Wheels during Super Dirt Week. All courtesy of Jeff Hockman and Dirt Car.
Nice.
Holy cow.
Got it?
Celebrity drivers, as I said earlier,
Nope.
we've got Brett Hearn. We've got Chad Brockman, who also donated a T-shirt.
Ooh, nice.
Both Bobby Varon and Danny Varon.
Can I break the news? Dave Lape.
Not playing.
And and Jerry Higbee is going to be a celebrity driver. He's also donating. All the celebrity
Jerry
drivers
Higbee.
are donating to the league. I haven't clarified exactly what yet, but we'll
Nice.
get all that taken care of. And I'm still working on a lot of other stuff. So
Tell Brad I want a TO chassis.
everybody stay tuned. We are there's going to be a
Reasonable.
lot of stuff
Why
up for
not?
grabs. This, of course, is all on top of the
Prize
top
money.
3 get money at the end
Right.
of the year.
All right.
Can you argue?
Here's
So
what-
you
I
want to
like
sign
money.
up, go to dickdragonmotorsports.com and let's play some Dirt Modified Fantasy League.
Already done.
All right, here we go. I'm going to go through the winners list just because our first guest is part of the winners list.
Go for it.
Okay. We'll
3
start with ASCS. Was at Tucson, Arizona. Brian
Yes,
Brown,
they were.
Roger Crockett won those 2 events. Bubba Raceway Park, USAC Sprint Car Series. Brian Clausen, Tracy Hines picked up a pair. Looking at Daytona, the Wheeling Modified Series, Steve Park, and we'll get to this whole debacle a little
do
later
that
on.
at the end.
The K&N Series race went to Cameron Haley. Thursday night, if we're talking to the Bud Shootout, you know Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch. The Camping World Truck Series, Johnny Sauter. The Nationwide race, we'll get to that later on too. Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson won the 500. Boring. East Bay Raceway Park, King of the 360s. Tim Schaefer won on Thursday night. Friday night, none other than Steve Fireball Poirier out of St. Mathieu de Bully, Quebec. And then on Saturday was Danny Holtgraver. New Smyrna Speedway. Yeah, I liked it. I was there. Pavement racing. Wednesday night, Woody Pitcat picked up the win over Kyle
Can I
Benjamin.
interrupt you briefly?
Yes.
For a Woody Pitcat note. Woody
Yes.
Pitcat is the comedian who hosts Are You Faster Than a Redneck
Really?
on the Speed Channel.
But he's not the same
Woody
guy, is it?
Yeah.
What?
And not only is it the same guy, he's the comedian that was made popular in the That Thing Got a Hemi commercials.
That's John Reap, you dummy.
Oh.
Okay. Nice job. Okay, so we keep going with it. Kyle Benjamin. Actually, Woody Pitcat won earlier in the week as well, so I should give him props on that. He won New Smyrna on, what was it, Monday. He picked up a win prior to that, so it was his first ever win in a pavement modified, his first tour-type modified win. He's won in SKs and all the other things. So he got a win there. Kyle Benjamin won the late models, and that kid is unbelievable in the super late model. Ronnie Silk won Friday night. Kyle Benjamin again won the super late models. And Saturday night, the tour-type mods, Chuck Hosfeld was the winner. Travis Cope won the super late model race. Volusia, here we go. We got a lot. Tuesday, UMP late models, Josh Richards. He actually lucked into that one. It was Lanigan led, broke. Well, let's rephrase that.
No,
Lanigan
it's
had the
taking
lead.
forever.
T-Mac. Dude, I got way more to talk about than you do. Okay, so
There's
you know
a
what? Fine. You
shocker.
know what? Fine. I won't even give any details. I'll just spew it all out for you. Josh Richards won. UMP Modifieds, Nate Zimmer, Jacob Poley, and Ty Dillon. Volusia champion was Kenny Schrader in the UMP Modifieds. Cool dude, cool interview. Wednesday night, Tim McCready won the UMP event. The Modifieds went to the doctor, Danny Johnson. Thursday night, UMP late models, Scott Bloomquist. Modified, Stuart Friesen. World of Outlaw late models, Billy Moyer. Dirt Modifieds, the Quaker Shaker, Rick Laubach. And then Saturday night, Daryl Lanigan over in the late models. And then Brett Hearn won the Modifieds. Danny Johnson was the Florida champion for those that care about the Modifieds and want to know who the champion was, which is most of the people listening to this show. So there you have it. There you go. Is that quick enough for you?
That
All right.
was
I'm
awesome.
I'm done.
Well
there you
done.
go. That's what I got.
We
so
are We are right now running a minute early.
Wow.
Now, look at that. I got mine done quicker than you did.
Don't tell anybody.
And joining
All right,
us.
and there goes that minute.
Yep. And joining us on the line now, of course, is our friend from Quebec, as we like to joke around and say, but winner on Friday night down at East Bay as part of the King of the 360s, none other than a 3-time ESS champion, Steve Poirier. Steve, how are we doing this evening?
Hey, doing good, and you?
I'm doing spectacular, man. It's I tell you, it's not nearly as fun though being here where it's cold and rainy, and I don't know if it's snowy up your way, but it was way more fun in Florida.
Oh yeah, weather was way better last week.
So, Steve, what did it mean to you? You were out of racing for nearly a year with a knee injury. What did it mean for you to get back in the race car, get back in the winning ways down at East Bay?
Oh, that was super fun. The main goal there was just to have some nice vacation with the warmer weather and start our new season with new chassis and to turn a little bit and have fun. But to win against those guys, that pretty tough competition on a track that in the past I never has been super comfortable and super good, was a really good way to start our 2013 season.
Does it make it any different or any better, any more special, any worse? When you pass, your good friend Mikael Perrot for the win. You guys finished 1-2 that night.
That makes that thing a bit special. So we're in Florida racing against Schaefer, a couple of outlaw guys, Sides and McCall, and once we found I'm racing against Michael at the front, and we're kind of checking out of those guys. So that shows that we could have a decent competition around here, and that was really fun.
How has the competition here in New York in the 360 sprint cars changed since you've been involved in sprint car racing? When you came in, you definitely took it to a whole nother level, and I think since then there's other guys that have come to that level with you. Yeah,
I saw that a couple of really fast cars got hooked up with us. And so when I started, maybe there was like 2-3 fast cars, and after that, competition was lowering a little bit. But it seems that ESS is having a lot of success, and because they're strong and they are really doing a good business, a lot of good guy wants to hook up with ESS, and they have put money in their thing, so they have good equipment. Everybody's having a nice setup, and competition gets stronger and stronger each year.
Now, I know you're going to add to that competition this year. You're a 3-time champion. You're out last year. Are you back? Are you looking for number 4? And I know one guy's going to be happy to have you back, and that's Chuck Ebing, because I know you guys got a pretty good rivalry and a pretty good friendship, too.
Yeah, that's. I really enjoy racing against Chuck. He's a tough competitor, but I think we have a really strong respect for each other. Even he told me that in the past last year it was not the same to race at championship, knowing that we were not there. But for sure we want to give him money for, I don't know the expression exactly, give him money for his, I don't know exactly.
A run for his money.
We want to... Yeah, for his money. We definitely wants to race for that championship. Being out of not being contender last year was a deception for us. We've always raced for championship, so and that's why we came to Florida to start our season and kind of test new things, and we're serious about that incoming season.
Now, I know ESS is going to do some traveling this year to some places that you may not have experience, may not have been. Are you looking forward to getting in some new tracks? Places like Sealands Grove, that are bigger tracks, faster tracks, and then you're going up against new competition, guys like Pat Cannon and Mark Smith that race down in Pennsylvania weekly.
Yeah, that's definitely that will be a fun experience. So that's why we'll do the trip early in April on the first Sealands Grove race, which is not an ESS point show, but we will travel there to get some seat time on that kind of track where we don't have much experience, but normally we do decent on track like Rolling Wheels on bigger track and Can-Am, so we might be decent, but with more track time, we know competition is tough against the local there, the PA guy. So we'll make our best to be competitive there.
You know, ESS also added a speed week this year. You know, 5 nights of racing, 5 nights in a row. Is that something you look forward to as a guy? You get to come down. I know you got to take time off from work and all that, being a working guy, but is it nice to have those races back to back to back where you can come into town and you can stay here a while and have a chance to win some money?
Yeah, that's something we enjoy. We have discussed, me and Kevin Lowe is my coachie. We discussed a lot about that week where we need to have all our stuff being ready, and that's something probably that would be in our advantage because we'll take a week away from work and concentrate on racing. We have good equipment, and it's all track that we like. So that I think that could be good for us. Even in work-wise, it's not too good. I have to take a vacation week just in the part of the season where it's pretty busy. But I think that will be super fun.
You know, another major event that came out, Oswego Speedway, a place you've had some success in the past, paying, having a big race, having a $7,000 to win event. How good is that for sprint car racing?
Yeah, it's we hear a lot on forum, or I hear from a couple of different venues about that big race. That's really good for sprint car, that we have a big money race like that. And I really, it's really fun. Utica was super good for us like 3-4 years ago, where at some point we definitely were one of the fastest car there. Last couple of races, Donut was better and Ebing was better, so we have to improve a little bit on our racing program there, but we're still searching, and it's a really fancy track with not much traction, where you need to fine-tune your setup and be right on the edge to be fast there.
Now, I know you had Patrick Vigneault with you all last week. What did you impart on him? What knowledge did you teach him, or did you show him while you guys were in Florida? I know it's a weird role for him to be down there, not racing, but just helping you work on the car.
Yeah, that's why he came with us. But we're good buddies, and so he took that as a vacation too. But he wants to learn. He's around us. We probably tell him anything. He knows anything that we're doing on our race cars, and we are trying to help him as much as we could, so to help him on his learning curve. So I think he was pretty happy about it. He has a good eye to see different car, what they're doing, what we are doing, and even if my setup doesn't suit him perfectly, so he has to find his personal touch on the race car. At least he know what we're doing and what we have success with.
Yeah, I know I had a chance to talk with Patrick, and he was real excited to be down there with you. And I tell you, I think we've got him. He's starting to get his English is getting a little better too.
Yeah, but that's the practice is the way to go. Like 5-6 years ago, when I started with ESS, I was kind of nervous about interviews, video interviews like that. My English was not too good. So being around you for those couple of years, I've also Patrick will be the same way, speaking English more often will help for sure.
Yeah, I got to learn French, but I don't think it's going to come as easy as you're learning English.
It's funny. I have French my buddy John from PA that he's trying to learn French, because sometimes he's hanging with us on race night. Sometimes when I'm with my Canadian fellows, we're speaking French, and he doesn't like to not knowing what we're discussing.
Yeah, it's funny. I know.
Yeah, you always feel like they're talking about you when you can't understand it.
You have no idea. It was because it was funny in Florida. It was Mikel Parent and Patrick Vigneault and Steve were all sitting there chatting, and I had no idea what was going on. You know, I'm glad you have Kevin Lovey's though. Kevin helps me out.
Kevin is the same way, but Kevin doesn't want to learn French. But I think he could understand. He doesn't want to speak, but being around us for that long, he knows a little bit if we're speaking in his back or if we're speaking for other things.
Now I know last winter you got hurt riding snowmobiles. How much of the snowmobile jumping and snowcross and that stuff have you been doing this winter? Or did you cut back a little bit?
Yeah, I cut nearly all of my snowcross. I did just a little bit, but doing just small jumps. That was really something I was enjoying, and that was really a good sport I found to stay in shape. I found that that race in that feature race at East Bay, we done 37 laps without any yellows. It was pretty tough physically. Doing snowcross was really a good way to get in shape. Now, what happened to me last year made me realize that even if I get in shape, I have too big of a risk of being hurt. So I cut really on that. I purchased a side-by-side ATV, so I'm still jumping. I made a small track with smaller jump, with, riding that ATV, and so I'm modifying it. It's fun, but it's not as fun as snowcross and not as good on physical.
Yeah, that race at East Bay was definitely intense. You know, there was a caution early on, and it did go. I mean, almost basically green to checkered, other than one caution in that race. You know, he ended up in that race 7th, and I know you were a little bit disappointed about your finish in that main event.
Yeah, it's not only the finish. I made a small mistake. So I started with a bad car that was pushing, and I was just trying to hang in a top spot, but I was going back, and my car came back on the middle part of the race, and probably I lost 5 laps before I realized that it was going on again, and I could run the cushion on a pretty fast pace. But I got passed by 1 or 2 cars before I realized that my car was decent and even super good, because I had the Old River won that race. So he was in my back. He was going to lap me before I moved to the outside. And I gained a couple of car lengths for the last part of the race. So I was a bit faster than him at the end. So it was just a small mistake from me. That was my disappointment. I would have preferred to have a better starting spot and being better at the beginning. But sprint car is pretty, with that competition, you just need to be off a little bit, and it's not that easy.
Now, Steve, is your first race going to be Selinsgrove? Is that the first place we're going to see you after this now?
Yeah, that's where we're planning. Just if that's a pretty far traveling distance for us. So if forecast is no good, we may decide not to go. But if the weather is good, we'll be there for sure, and we'll experiment on our race setup.
Well, Steve, like we always do here with guys on when they come on the 31st lap, I want to give you a chance. If you got a website, go ahead, tell the folks at home your website address, and if you want to thank some sponsors and thanks people that help you out, feel free to do that now too.
Okay. Sorry, I still have something in my throat again. But, thanks to all my crew, Kevin, Réal, Luke, that helped me here. My sponsor, Fondation 4 Saisons, Pompage Méga, and Industrie FM. And for people that want to hook on my website, it's poirierracing.ca.
So there you go.
Nice.
Well, Steve, hey, we look forward to seeing you around the tracks, man. It'll be nice to have you back with the Empire Super Sprints in 2013. And I'm sure I'll be chatting with you at that Selinsgrove race, and I'm sure I'll see you around before then. But again, thanks for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It was pretty fun.
All right, man. Have a great night.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay. Thanks. Bye-bye.
So Steve Poirier, I love Steve Poirier.
I can listen to him talk
all of that.
Forever.
You enjoy it,
forever.
don't you?
Yeah.
You love it, don't you?
Well,
You
You know
love
what, Mike?
Love
I think you
listening
should
to
do the
talk.
next interview with him in French.
Okay. So I have
It's
a
only,
year.
it's only fair.
I have a year to practice. I mean, that's the second time we've had Steve on. You know, we had him on last year after he got hurt and everything else. And
I
know-
could get through part of it as long as he answers questions like what's his favorite color and where.
And speaks really, really slowly.
can you count to 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. I'm done.
You win. Good interview.
Yeah.
Yep. So
You got the
Where
top
is-
5.
You're farther advanced than I am.
yeah, I took it in
I
fourth.
don't even know what the hell you just said.
Here's the sad part. I took it at Fort Plain, Baumes, where we're from, in 4th grade, and the only thing I remember is I can count to 10.
I got lucky. I didn't have to.
That just
take
means you can do
a
the top
language.
10 of the race finish.
Yeah,
in
and I
French.
know Souvenir de Kiosque, or Kiosque de Souvenir is a souvenir stand. That's it.
Yeah.
I know poutine.
Yeah,
French fries and
poutine
gravy.
and French fries, gravy, and
cheese.
And cheese curd, the right one. So
Get it right.
Oh,
so it's good. Steve had some trouble on Thursday night. He actually had an electrical issue, so they changed some things on the car, and they got it right for Friday night. And the way that event worked is basically you race 2 nights for points. It's kind of like a mini Knoxville Nationals in a roundabout way. Where you race for points 2 nights, and then the last night, everything's lined up based off of points. Steve missed the points, obviously, because he missed the first night. He ended up 15th in points with the win, so he had to race his way in from a heat race. And he started, so I'd say 9th in the A main and ended up finishing in 7th. So it was a good run for Steve. Good representation, though, on Friday night by the guys from Empire Super Sprints. Again, Poirier won and Mikael Parent was second. Mikael Parent led most of the race until lap 21 when Steve passed him. So it shows you, like he said, our guys, hey, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Our Canadian contingent that we see generally around the Northeast has fared well at East Bay the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Glenn
Steyers won it last year.
Won it last year, the whole thing.
Yeah, the only guy, I think I can tell you there's one guy.
You want to give us kind of a roundup on what was going on down there?
For East Bay?
Yeah, front to back with all the sprint car stuff. There was a ton going on.
He had some few nights there at the All-Star, well, not the All-Stars. I got there for the World of Outlaws the weekend before. I'll tell you who might be a guy to beat this year, and that's going to be Darren Pittman. In that 9 car.
Oh, yeah,
Pittman was impressive.
No doubt.
If we're talking about the sprint car at Volusia, you look at guys who won. Darren Pittman won the World of Outlaw race on Friday night. Terry McCarl won on Saturday night, and then Sunday, Danny Lasowski. I don't want to say lucked into the win, but he had a hand to him thanks to Chad Kemenow. Okay, Chad Kemenow's leading the race.
Yeah.
They go 2 restarts on the same lap. So what do? They go single file
that
with the cone.
The one night I listened.
What did Kemenow do? He drove below the cone on the restart. And I don't know.
He couldn't see it.
Yeah, he said he was out of tear-offs and he didn't see it until he went by. He said in Victory Lane, he goes, I didn't see the cone. I thought that was odd.
He
must not have realized it was to the right side of him, not the left where it should have been.
He was looking the wrong way.
He took complete blame. He could not see the cone.
Yeah, he said he couldn't see the cone. It was nice to see. Pittman was by far the most impressive guy there because he drove to the front. Even when the track wasn't exceptionally racy, he still was at the front of the field.
Yeah.
So Pittman is going to be a strong contender.
Oh, no doubt.
He's leading the points. He left there leading the points.
And he got into a real good ride.
And he's in a spectacular ride. And one guy I was
obviously with his experience being on the Outlaws
right, and
for
you
many years, and then you put him in that car, that team.
Right.
He's going to be good. Will he unseat Donnie Schatz? Who knows?
Who knows? Donnie Schatz is going to be tough.
Schatz
is a notoriously slow starter, but he started great with the All-Star stuff over at Bubba. He picked up some wins. But, I think, once Pittman gets wound up in that ride, it's going to be very good. Now, as equally as good as he looked, Joey Saldana struggled. And I think that was just, I've read a couple of the press releases since then that they've sent out, the Modern Motorsports team, and they're struggling a little bit just getting everything together. They're a brand new team. They just put everything together. And one of the things in the press release said, we don't have the notebooks that we had.
Yeah.
They don't have everything to go back to as much as what they used to have. So obviously that it's going to take Joey some time to get that team going. But
sure,
you could tell it was a little bit tough on them. Terry McCarl, he was one of the highlights of my column from 2 weeks ago. He won on Saturday night, and it was interesting. He came all the way to Florida with one 410 engine. He had a 360 and a 410. One. He came all the way down with one. It ended up, and I go, because on Friday night, he started in the back. He couldn't go anywhere. He pulled in. He ran a few laps and pulled in. He said, you know what? I'm not going to do it. And then on Saturday, he won, the 10 grand for winning the Outlaw race. That helps. So then he ran all the race on Sunday. And I don't know where he ended up, exactly. But he told me I talked to him actually on Saturday because he finished third in the 360 race. And it took him some time to get going, too. At the beginning of the race, he got stuck on one of the starts on the bottom, and there you want to start on the top at East Bay. I don't know if you've been there. It's a real momentum track. It's almost like a circle. It's like a circle. Yeah. So once you get the momentum up, it's tough to pass. So he came on late. He was probably as fast as the leaders late, but when you don't get any cautions, it's tough. It's real tough. It's real tough to do. So he mentioned that he had a broken Jacob's ladder. So that was something he was like. Fortunately, we got through the end of it. He didn't know it that night that I had talked to him. He said, but fortunately we got lucky there. And then tonight that night. They actually did hot laps for all the top 6. He went out and he broke the rear end. The rear end broke in hot laps. So he got lucky again. They changed the rear end. Again, he went out and won a little bit of coin there. So he got lucky a couple of times, so he couldn't complain. The only complaint he had is he was not pleased with Glenn Steyers. He thought Glenn raced him a little hard for being a lap car. But, like Danny Holtgraver said when I interviewed him after he won, he said, every car out here is a good car. He goes, you got to work to pass every car. Because when their starting field there is only 20 cars. And only 19 started because Greg Wilson blew a motor in hot laps. So he didn't have a backup. So, Danny said, it's tough because you're racing guys that could win this race. It's a challenge. So, Terry, obviously he comes from a little bit, he comes from the outlaw background and that, and things are a little bit different there. But in 360s, I think 360s, you gotta earn what you get way more. You really have to be good, and Holgraver said if you mess up a little bit, it kills your momentum. Yeah, and it really bogs you down.
You really got to keep them things wound up.
Yeah, if you make
where you got to get out.
You make one little mistake, right, and it'll mess you up. And he said that. He said, you know what helped him the most, Holgraver? Go-karts. He goes, I go over to Shafe's house, Tim Schaefer. Him and Schaefer are real close. He goes, I go over to Shafe's house, and we race go-karts every Wednesday. So he goes, that really helped because you can't mess up with a go-kart. He goes, you got to keep your foot in it. Yeah. So he goes, that really helped me out.
It's all about being wound up.
Yeah, so... I have some fun with the sprint car stuff. That obviously entertains me. And I did have fun over for the wingless stuff. I even give Baumes a little credit. Like I told him, I said the Thursday night race was great. It was Dave Darlin, Brian Clausen. Clausen got him coming to the white by a nose, and then he beat him by like a half car length of the checkered. It was a great race. And then you come back the next night thinking, yes, it's going to be awesome. And then it's like, it kind of...
The track sucked.
The track didn't... It was just a little too fast. It got a little too fast. And it was just tough to pass. And then Tracy Hines went on the win. And Hines actually Robert Ballou actually blew a right rear tire on the last lap coming off of 2. And that was it. Your guy did well. He had a good week, finished third.
Brady had a consistent week.
He had a third, a fifth, and a seventh. And his fifth place run was probably the most impressive out of all of them because he came from 20th to get fifth. And like Robert Ballou, he got his right rear tire started blistering. He could feel it kind of going away. He stopped. He was catching the top 4, and he's like, okay, we're good. We're fifth. We'll take it down a notch. Yeah. And he kind of sat there in fifth and just raced.
Well, it's a good solid start for the points because he's running for points this year.
And same thing with Brian Clausen. Clausen had a great 3 days. He had he got the win. That's important. It was right there. I think it was second.
Hunter Schoenberg's a point leader too.
Yeah, Hunter Schoenberg looks strong, and he's driving a Mach 1 chassis, which is it's Mark Smith. That's a Mark 1.
That's
yes,
a Mach 1 car. I didn't know that.
And Mark Smith was there, which is funny seeing Mark Smith run a wingless car because you're so used to seeing him in a wing. But
him and Brian Paulus were both there.
Right. Paulus
Paulus
I'll use the phrase again.
He had fun.
I'll use the phrase again. Is as good as Mark Smith looked for a wing guy in a wingless car.
Yeah.
Paulus looked equally as bad. But by the end of the week, Paulus, you could see he was starting to get it. Because at the beginning of the week, he was trying to drive it in. And he was waiting for the car to kind of, to cock like a sprint car does. Right. Cock left and you drive it. Yep. He was, like, you could see he was real hesitant to throw the butt in there and let her slide. He's like, ooh, because you drive them totally different.
Yes,
two totally different driver styles. So the sprint car stuff, bar none, was good. The USAC midget race was such a letdown on pavement, but there's only 14 cars. There's nothing you can really do. And Bobby Santos, and Bobby Santos just smoked him. Just smoked him. So I had a good time.
How about the modifieds?
The dirt modifieds?
I saw one race.
I didn't see any dirt modified races.
You didn't see any?
No,
of them. I thought you caught some.
No, I caught some
That's
UMP.
Right.
I will say this.
Over there after the
it was
race,
UMP.
They were already done.
Yeah. Yep.
You missed.
Well,
their feature, right?
No. The dirt modifieds didn't start till Tuesday or Wednesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They have 4 nights.
Oh, that's right.
It was the UMP final night
before that.
And I got to watch Kenny Schrader win the Gator. And it was cool because he goes in victory lane. He goes, I was going to go over to Daytona tonight, and I was going to say, screw this. He goes, but then Kenny Wallace kind of guilted me in here. He goes, made me come over here and race for it. And he goes, I won it. So, and he's like, he swears in victory lane. It was so funny because it's like he's just a normal dude. Like he was, it was a great interview.
Kenny Schrader.
And Kenny Wallace was the same way. His was a good interview. He won the 6-pack dash.
Nice field there.
Yo, dude,
Justin Allgaier,
I will tell you,
Brennan
the Sunday night UMP race was unbelievable. It was like Justin Allgaier, Ty Dillon.
Yep.
Who was it? Ty Dillon or Austin Dillon? It was one of the Dillon brothers.
Ty. It was Ty.
And then you had Kenny Wallace in there. Schrader was in there. I mean, it was just these guys were all.
Stremme was there too.
Yeah,
right?
these guys were all over each other. It was an awesome race. Like Allgaier, there was one point he was 3 wide. And then I missed the night that Kenny Schrader Kenny Schrader won by a nose, or was it?
He just nipped somebody at the line.
He nipped somebody at the line. It was one of the Dillons, and he said we were either I was going to win that race or we were both wrecking. Yeah. So it was good. I mean, I missed all the dirt mod stuff, but again, I go down there, and my goal is to see
stuff you can't see at home.
Different stuff.
You see them everywhere.
Right, and I've always been to East Bay once in my life.
Well, for the people that don't know, Danny Johnson won the opener.
Yeah.
Stu Friesen backed that up. He got a win, and Rick Lawback followed that up, and then Brett Hearn won the finale. Won the finale.
Yeah.
He ended up having a flat tire, restarted 10th, came back up through.
Yep.
Got a pass right there at the end, and Danny Johnson came away with the Tour Championship.
Yeah, and that's the dirt modified racing down there I heard was good. I followed all the tweets. I retweeted all the Dirt Car Nat stuff, and again, I don't not go because I don't like it. It's just I wanted to do the different stuff, and I like getting to the different tracks. Like George Smith, Outlaw Photos, and GT Smith, they went to all the stuff at Volusia, and they came home every night. That was great. That was great. That was great. You know, and it sucks missing it, but I also know that I see so much good racing here in New York with the modifieds that I want to get a chance. You know, because I
something you don't get.
Yeah,
to
I mean,
see
and we
every
joke
day.
around about wingless sprints, and I want to see them. I don't have a lot of experience with it, so when I get a chance to see them at someplace new, I want to do it.
Sure.
You know, I had originally
That's where I would've
planned
been if I was
right, and I had originally planned to do 3 nights there, but then I'm like, King of the 360s. It's only like a 2-hour and 10-minute drive. You know, it's like driving from Brewerton to Lebanon Valley. It's not that bad. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Now, unfortunately, by doing that, I missed the big wreck at the Daytona race. You know, the nationwide race. But
and we'll get into that. Later.
we'll get into that in a little
You
bit.
didn't miss nothing.
No, but you know, so
Talk to those people in the stands.
Just a few minutes away from having Penn Speedway track champion Joey Grimes.
yeah, we're trying. We're trying.
We're gonna
He's doing construction, and he's at a site that he had some issues with service. So hopefully he answers. If not, I called, left him a message, but again, he might not have service. So
We'll find out.
If not,
Time will
we will get Joey Grimes at some point.
If we don't get him, that gives you 15 more minutes to talk about wingless sprint cars.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't mind. I mean,
fine with me.
it was a good, like I said, it was a good race. So on Darland, it was fun. You know what I didn't realize? Like they called Darland the people's champ. There was a
Yes,
ton
they
of
do.
people booing him, and there was something.
Really?
Oh yeah.
guy
Well,
never gets
here's what
booed.
happened on Thursday night. There was a restart, right? And I don't know if I didn't think that Darland brake checked him at all.
You can't tell he's getting booed when you watch it on the internet.
Yeah, right, yeah. But Gulick thought he brake checked him. Well, Gulick spins out on the restart. So Gulick goes up and just drives all the way around. You know the deal. Here I come. Slams Darland in the ass. You know, bam! Well, then they come around, and Gulick pulls out a line and guns it, comes around. Well, Darland comes flying up behind him, going to hit him back. Well, the black flag's out. And Darland, as soon as he sees the black flag, you can say, okay, I'm not going to do anything because that could be me.
He's running for a championship.
Right, so he backs off. Well, he goes around to Gulick gets out of his car, takes his helmet off, and he goes running at Dave Darland on the track, running at him. So Darland, it's like chicken. He's not moving. So they go at each other, and then finally Gulick jumps out of the way. I'm like, jeez, it was entertaining. You know, and then they end
New
up
York's
pushing.
finest, right there.
Yeah, out of Binghamton, right? Yeah. So Gulick got the boot. So that was that. But it was entertaining. You know, it's funny that you see modified guys beat on each other's bumper all the
Possibly
time.
There was a lot of New Yorkers in the stands that night. Maybe that's why he got booed.
Oh, I don't know. Again, there's some people you're gonna like who you like with wingless stuff. You know, it's like anything. You like who you like.
You don't usually find people say anything bad about that guy, though.
No, he's the people's champ. That's
it's unusual.
Yeah,
to
but
hear anybody
there was some
boo
guy
him.
up behind me like, you're an a-hole, screaming. I'm like,
Really?
and the guy I'm sitting with is a
like
Dave
if
Darland
Brett-
fan, which is pretty funny, you know.
It's like as if Brett Hearn climbed into one of those.
Yeah, I know. I was like, man, there's no love here for this guy. Maybe I was just in a wrong section. I don't know.
Must
I don't know.
be.
So it was
unusual.
fun. Yeah, it was entertaining to see the dislike of somebody, you know, that you didn't think that anybody ever hated. You know, I've never seen anybody boo Dave Darland. Again, I don't have a ton of experience, but every time I've seen Darland win out at Oskaloosa, everybody's cheering. Everybody loves the guy.
Tim McCready, speaking of well-loved, Tim McCready picked up a win in one of the UMP late model events.
Yeah, he should have had 2, and he broke leading the other one.
Yeah.
That was a nice Josh.
His first win in a late model of Volusia since 2005.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It was pretty
way to
good.
come
T
back, you know.
Mac.
He's racing tonight.
Yeah, he's
The
out.
Bama Bash.
Right.
I think it's in Alabama. I believe.
Okay. So that's a
Green
no-go.
Valley
Yeah,
Speedway or
we'll let-
something.
we'll
I'll
let
catch
Joey
up with
off.
him at another point. That's okay.
Joey's off the hook on that one. Maybe we can set it up for next week when Tanner Robinson's on
I
the
could
show.
do that. I will.
Yeah.
I'll get in touch with him. Like I said, he said he was working in a place where the service is kind of sketchy. Like he left me a message, and the message was kind of breaking in and out too. So yeah. It's not. It wasn't the best spot.
Well,
so
while we're on the wingless topic, I'll throw that out there now. We're in the works. Hopefully, in the next 3 weeks, we will have Mr. Brian Clausen.
you're working on
the
it,
show.
Brian
Oh, cool.
Clausen.
I'm working
That's
on getting
cool.
him on.
You know,
the
he
show.
was neat. I talked to him. If you read my column this week in Area Auto Racing News, I talked to him this week about the new team because he said it fell into my lap because of Levi Jones. He goes got a real
right
job.
at the last minute.
Yeah, it was like a couple days before, right? The swing went through there
Yeah, it
a
was
week,
literally like
not
a
even.
few
It was
days
like
before.
Tuesday. It was like
Yeah.
Tuesday, right? And he said, yeah, Levi Jones decided to get a real job, and then he goes, I was joking about getting old, so I guess he was getting old.
I still don't understand that one.
Yeah, so Jones is doing something. I don't know because he was at a show in Orlando while we were down there. That's why he didn't race on Thursday night, and then he showed up on Friday night
What's
to
wrong,
race.
John? What
I
happened?
lost my audio.
Whoa, no audio. I got mine.
Yeah,
It's probably the cord.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Can you hear me?
Can
I
you hear me now?
You, but I can't hear you here.
Okay, well,
That's okay.
That's all right. You can hear him fine.
all right.
Your microphone's still working. And,
Yes.
and the
Is it
feed,
good?
your
Yeah,
microphone's
you're
working
good.
and the feed
You're
hasn't
good.
dropped. You're fine.
So you're good.
We
so
can hear you. It's all good.
so I
Not that you got anything to worry about. This
Yeah,
is
so the
Mike's-
wingless stuff-
Mike's got this segment covered.
I can cover it all. I can talk all. I just had. It's so hard to talk about all of it because it's fun for me. It's
Well, that's
it's
why
the 1 week. Like I don't do a lot. Like I do a lot of live updates. That's what I did all week. But I'm there more. It's not like Knoxville where I'm doing a video blog and all that. I wanted to, but
I
I'm like,
meant to ask you on the Twitter thing. Do you
Yeah.
have your Facebook synced with your Twitter account?
no.
No.
I put an update on
I
my.
want you to get on this is to get our Twitter account synced with.
It is, isn't it?
It is, but it's synced through mine,
Okay.
which is blocking Smashed Empire Films Twitter feed.
Okay.
So all of you are admins.
Right.
So if Rich links
I'm not.
his Facebook, you are.
You've never
He doesn't
given
know
me
how
the-
to do it,
You've
but
never
Darn it.
given me the info if I am.
All you got to do is do
go on there.
all you got to do is log on to the.
If Rich takes the Twitter account, logs in, and says link to my Facebook and logs in, and he can use the redirect to log into his Facebook,
Right.
and then pick the 31st Lat page because it's an admin. That'll free up the Smashed Empire Films one. I was trying to do it today, but I couldn't hack his account. I tried like
okay.
crazy, but
You didn't put 55-year-old child in there as the
it's the password.
password.
No.
yeah, well, that's
Happy birthday.
funny thing is it was now happy birthday 56-year-old.
Okay. All right. Dang.
It
that's close.
changes weekly. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. All right.
So
So
you don't have a birthday coming up next weekend, do you?
No, I was gonna go celebrate yours.
sweet.
You've got it. You didn't know.
I've
you
got
have
one
another
coming up
coming.
next weekend.
Yeah. I do not. Mine's June. I have a racing thing coming up this Saturday.
Yeah, let's not
Yeah,
talk
you're
about
gonna
all
be.
I'm
in
going to
s-
Lincoln Speedway, and then
Lincoln.
next weekend I will not be at the car show. I won't be making my
I will be
presence
at the
known.
car
I'll
show
be.
on my birthday.
I'm doing the
that. He's gonna disappear.
Lincoln on Saturday, Sealands Grove on Sunday. I can't miss 410s at Sealands Grove, dude. I get to go once a year because Utica's not racing. I freaking love Sealands Grove with 410s. It is so fast. It is awesome. Awesome.
Who's going through the billboard this year?
I don't know. That was the 360s. I went through the freaking billboard.
They made the cover of Area
Yes, it
Auto
did.
Racing.
Yeah,
News.
it did. It did. So
Why wouldn't it?
Yeah, we're Mike. You and I are gonna have to link up at some point.
yeah,
this summer.
man. Hey, whenever you want to go,
I need to get down.
I'll get you to
a
the
PA
Grove.
Sprint race.
I'll get you to the Grove.
any one of them. I don't care.
Who
which
knows?
You
one.
need to
I
get
mean,
out
I
of-
got some PA stuff planned, but I also got a lot of, I got some New York
you
modified
need
stuff
to get out of
planned.
Ontario County.
Yeah, I
period.
know.
No,
Let's just
no,
come
no,
to
no, I
Utica
don't.
more than once.
See, you can bust my balls all you want, Baumes, but I ain't got to go anywhere.
I
I see good racing once a week, and
yeah,
I'm
but here's the
satisfied
thing.
with
Here's
it.
the thing. You
I could always use help.
Smash
On
in the
the
Fire
road.
Field.
Oh,
yeah.
What does that pay?
It pays. Here's a cheeseburger and shut the hell
It
up.
pays in
and you know what? That's great pay. And Chris, I won't even bitch about standing on the blocks with a video camera.
It pays
Baumes.
in rocks and mud.
That's
swinging
fine.
at your head.
I've been getting hit with rocks since I was a kid standing
Yeah,
at the races
yeah, that's
anyway.
right.
And that explains everything.
That's right.
You see this lump over here?
No money went in John's pocket that day.
Nope.
No.
So,
Right?
all
I
right.
don't know. Somebody got money that
So,
day.
what do you think?
You
Do
got
you,
paid?
Somebody else did too, I think, didn't they?
all right.
Yeah,
I think it's about
You got
time.
the clock set?
We're gonna go timer time now, and we're
Oh.
gonna start. I'm gonna take control of this monstrosity, and we're
You're
gonna.
going to take control. You've been
I'm
controlling
taking
this since we
control.
started.
Listen,
we're done.
Chris.
I've been watching the clock over here, and
I know.
we're trying to keep us on some sort
Listen,
of.
I'm coming back to the schedule right now. Here we go. I'm coming back to the
Chris,
schedule.
we're purely eye candy here.
Okay.
And that's
All
scary.
right. Let's. Well, listen. I'm used to carrying the load here because you're never here.
I carry the load daily. Don't even get at me.
I'm carrying a load. Never mind. Never mind. There's so many.
Listen,
We're
leave your
stopping.
load
We're
elsewhere.
stopping. We're stopping there.
Before
All right.
before you get your alarm clock set, I do
is
want to
set.
just pass on thoughts to the Ryan Bay family calling hours for tonight.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed, indeed. And we should have started. I didn't even. My apologies for. But definitely a very sad day for all of us in racing. Anybody that knew Ryan knew he was a great dude. You know, really nice guy. Always talkative in the pits. If you ever went over and saw Alan Johnson, always helped him out.
Always.
And you know, definitely a sad loss for the racing community.
Yep.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so moving back here, we're going to the 5-minute segments now.
Yep. 5-minute sprints.
So we're going to start with the most boring Daytona 500 I have ever watched. And if we can get 5 minutes out,
disagree
if
with
we can get
that.
5 minutes out of it, that'll be impressive. Because I was done after about the first commercial.
And we're gonna dial and focus on the well, look at this. Zupi weighs in. Ryan's only career modified win came at Utica Rome on September 9th, 2001, 2 days before 9/11. That's an interesting statistic. How about that? I didn't think that it was boring. I don't know if I would go to that extent. I thought the end was anticlimactic because I invested my whole afternoon into watching this race. Danica Patrick was doing well, and
I was
the 2 car was doing well, and that thing was all tore up. And Junior was coming, and it looked like it was going to be interesting. And then here comes Mr. Vanilla, Jimmy Johnson, only guy, by the way, who could pull the inside the way that he did.
Yeah, but he didn't.
But he didn't.
He still didn't
The
pull
yellow
it. He
got
just got
pulled up
lucky
by
that
a
the
yellow.
caution came out at the right time.
Right.
It was awful.
And he had to happen to be a nose out
Here-
front.
here's
which
what
gave
was-
him the lead on the restart where he could choose the
Right.
outside.
Wasn't it weird though? Like all week long they ran the bottom, and then it comes to the 500 and everybody's up on the wall.
Everybody's on the top.
But you
Yeah.
know what? It was like that in the qualifiers.
You know what?
weird.
I don't let.
The entire week was all single file, even the butt shootout or whatever the hell they call that race these days.
Same difference.
I
Sprint
think I like
Unlimited.
those Gen 6 cars better, but
but
that old pack racing where they're running 2 wide
it's not
the
happening
whole time,
anymore.
That's not happening anymore.
Yeah, they
No,
didn't do the
it was a
tandem
little-
thing for the most part.
No,
Yeah.
a
it
little
was
bit. But
the
not-
race was a little bit cleaner. It
Yes.
was. I think, and I don't know if it's they just weren't willing to. The cars wouldn't do it, but it was a single file
But
train
did you-
race.
That
I mean,
was the thing.
You hear
If
everybody
noticed,
though.
It was the way it was back in the
whole
90s.
week of
Right.
racing,
Yeah.
when it came down to the final winding down laps, whoever was out front won
win that
because you
race.
could not pass.
Couldn't
Right.
go anywhere.
Well, you didn't win. You got dumped.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
That was every race at Daytona, other than the
but
500.
Not there. They did the
Right,
butt shootout. It
right.
was whoever was out front with
Right.
5,
Yeah,
6,
you couldn't-
7
you
laps
couldn't
to
do
go.
anything.
They
You
were
just-
winning. Everybody.
Well,
thought
everybody
they were
said
do the move on the last
they said
lap,
you
but
can't.
You couldn't.
Yeah, that's
No.
what everybody
You
said.
couldn't.
You
You
pulled
could-
out a line. It was like hitting a wall.
Right.
That's
And
not
they just-
true. The 22 and the 7 made plenty of moves
Yeah.
in the nationwide race.
Yes.
That was the one exception. Was
Yeah.
that race?
And
Yeah.
That was 'cause
well,
there was a
Kyle Larson
crash.
made some moves on the last lap.
Yeah,
and
we're not
Steve
to that topic yet.
Relax.
Stop.
As
Mike-
a whole,
We got
my
3
personal
minutes, so
opinion,
shut
it
up with
was
that topic.
The boringest
Okay.
speed weeks I ever saw at Daytona.
We're just talking about the 500,
Awful.
though. We're not talking about speed weeks. Mike just said.
Yeah.
Pay
Well,
attention.
we're talking about the cup cars.
Sprint Cup.
you know what, Mike?
Boring. boring.
I'm going to
I
agree
thought it was
that
boring.
that it was kind of boring.
boring.
I was impressed with Danica Patrick.
I do
Very.
not.
Well,
Did a
that's a
great
different
job.
topic.
Yeah, we're gonna
save
get,
it.
We're gonna get to that.
Save it.
Yeah, well, I didn't
Save
see
it.
it on the list here. So
It is. It's the fourth one. We're following the schedule tonight. Darn it.
All right.
We're sticking to it because Chris always gives me crap that we don't.
We're still talking about the 500,
Which
so
I do.
But we'll get back
We'll,
to her.
we'll go back to that.
But other than, I mean, there was just.
it was boring.
I mean, I even watched it late. Like Dean Reynolds
Thank you.
picked me up at the airport at 5:00. We DVR'd it. And let me tell you, it's difficult to cut yourself off from Facebook and Twitter for like 5 hours because once the race started, I'm like, I can't go on any of this because if I do, somebody's
No,
going to
you'll ruin it, right?
Yeah, and what sucked is there's one buddy, I don't tell him anything, and we're just talking back and forth. He goes, by the way, Tony Stewart, Kevin Harvick, and so-and-so just wrecked. I'm like, don't tell me I'm DVRing it.
I know. Pisses you
know,
off.
Oh,
doesn't it?
man.
You can't
that-
touch. You can't get near your phone. You can't get near the computer.
Nothing.
Nothing.
So,
Everything has to be cut off.
so the best part about watching the 500 for me was I got to fast forward every commercial. And that made the
That's
race like an
cool.
hour and 20 minutes. It was awesome. It was the perfect length for a NASCAR race. Hour and
no,
20
if you could
minutes.
just do that live,
I know, it'd be awesome.
I-
But yeah, I
That's
mean,
funny.
It
you
was
see Jimmy
not
Johnson get out in
exciting.
front and you're like, oh, here we go. This sucks.
And to me, it wasn't even the. I'm not a Jimmy Johnson fan. It does suck when he wins.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it turned me off. I mean, I was like, you kidding me? I just invested
You
this
just
whole
invested your
afternoon.
half of your day in this crap.
well,
yeah,
it takes the whole day.
Well, and the
Yeah, I
thing
know.
is my daughter is, she's diehard Kyle Busch fan. Okay, so she's into this race, and what I think
He was in the first wreck too, right?
No, his motor
he was
went
he was a
2
part
minutes.
of the first wreck. It was, oh yeah, his motor went what 2 minutes after Denny Hamlin's went.
yeah, like two laps, 2
Yeah,
minutes.
done.
But she's usually into watching the NASCAR race because she's at home,
Kyle
she's
Busch, right?
comfortable, and she likes Kyle Busch. She watched, I think, 4 laps and looked
Yeah.
at me and said, "Daddy,
I'm done.
this is boring."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to watch Dora. We got that all afternoon. I'm like, no.
No, I didn't get. I got left alone with the TV. But for a kid that's usually into watching the race
Yeah.
on TV, she just looked at me and flat out said, "It's boring."
It
Well,
was.
who knows what will
She was
happen
right.
with these cars though? Now that they're back at
Well, that's the
on
thing.
short
We're gonna wait
track,
and see
yeah.
what happens
See how
this
the short
weekend in
track are.
Phoenix.
Well, let me just be Nostradamus here for a minute. Jimmy Johnson or Kevin Harvick are going to win that race.
yeah. Okay, that's your theory.
Because they always win when they go to Phoenix.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
They didn't win last year.
Junior,
Junior.
I'm not mamaking any picks because I don't care.
I'll make a pick.
I'll tell
just
you this: the only way I'm
because.
going to watch that race is if it rains on Sunday. Because even if it, I'll go sit outside in the porch in the snow in my underwear before I'm going to watch another NASCAR race. After that.
Well, I would agree
Well,
that
let's-
sitting in an empty dirt track in the rain is probably better than watching a cup
Yeah,
race.
I know. It just sucks.
The most
All right.
exciting race, series that they have is the Truck Series of the Big Three, and they're off for like 2 friggin' months now.
I know.
Yeah.
There
Yep.
it is. We're done with that. Moving on.
And
Thank
we're
God.
moving on to. Do you want to isolate it just to the crash, or do you want to talk about how the crash was the theme for the whole week?
Well, I think what we should do. Well, you got Larson as the next.
Well, that-
topic.
I mean,
I know, we're going on to Larson
let's
in a
go-
minute.
Yeah,
Stay
you're
tuned
gonna
because
let's
factor in
stick-
that when you talk about him.
Let's get to the crash first.
Okay.
Now,
That crash set a tone for all the bash or Battle at the Beach events that took place on the
is this
backstretch.
the crash or
This
the
is the
crash?
crash.
Is this
Well,
the,
is this the
Kyle
first
Larson
crash?
Oh,
This is
Well, Kyle Larson was the crash in both
on
of
the-
them.
right? But is it
Yes.
the Kyle Larson crash?
Is this the one
on
that got you
short track?
defriended on Facebook?
Let's start with that one.
All right.
We're
So
starting with that one.
we're starting
Yeah,
with
we
Kyle
are.
I'm in
Larson
the
dumping
Daytona
the
crash.
guy on the last lap on the Battle at the Beach.
I
Now,
don't- I don't-
let's preface it with
By
the
the way,
other
I don't
two
remember what I
races.
meant when I wrote that down. Just so you know.
The other two races, the winner got the guy leading the last lap didn't win the race because they got dumped on the last lap
Right.
Yeah, all three of those races were not won by the guy leading into
because they got
West
dumped and it's crap. But go ahead.
Go on.
I don't know if it's crap.
All right, go ahead, Larson.
What
Let's
do you
hear
want? What do
your.
you want?
I
I
want to
want-
hear your Carl Larson BS. Here.
I want
Larson?
you
Who the
to
hell is
share.
that?
Yeah, exactly.
Who's Carl Larson?
Okay, shut up.
I want you to explain the same reasonings that you used when you got defriended on Facebook.
Yes.
I need to hear this.
Why should Kyle Larson have not been disqualified from that race?
I never said that he shouldn't have. I never said that.
Okay, let's hear your argument.
My argument was not about what he did. It was about the way he was being treated after the fact. The kid does not have a history of wrecking people. He's got a very young history. He's only 20 years old. Give the kid a break.
Didn't he wreck Austin Dillon in the truck race?
That was not the same deal. That was not the
That
same
was
deal.
that was a lot different.
I know,
He
but
went in the corner and got loose.
I
That
got to
was a
bring
whole
it up.
different
I
deal.
want to
Turn
bring
it
it up.
into
I want
screws.
to get the jab
That
in
was
there. Get
a
it in there.
That
John,
was not the same thing.
I think I would.
He did make a lot of junk.
He
Yeah.
he does not have a history of this.
Right.
Had he had a history
This
like
is not
say
common behavior.
like a Kurt Busch or somebody who has a past of doing that a lot, or doing certain things a lot, then maybe that warrants all the bashing. He was getting just brutally beaten
Yeah, until
on
Saturday.
internet pages,
Yep.
everywhere you looked for the next 24 hours after that wreck.
I think
Twitter pages were blowing up.
I would agree
because
that
of
he's not the
And
kind of kid that I
it didn't warrant that.
Right.
He made a mistake.
I mean, that's the problem with
He
social.
knows he made a mistake.
That's the problem with social media is like everybody's quick to like, oh, you're an a-hole,
Right.
and then they go
Yes.
on this Facebook.
Yep.
I
that
hope you
was
die.
not called for.
and
And
all
that
that,
was
and I
what
don't-
I was defending.
Right, and I understand that, and but me personally, all those races, the guys that actually won them, well, except for the K&N race, because that guy didn't dump anybody. It was the guy in second that dumped him, the guy in third or
Yeah, the
fourth.
K&N
Third
race, the
just
guy running
kinda-
third one.
yeah.
Yeah, but if
He,
you're
he ran over the horseshoe.
personally, Larson should have been DQ'd.
Well, he pushed the second guy into the lead.
I
That's what
don't
he
think
did.
Larson should have got the win. I think the kid that finished behind him, then Falk was third. The kid is second should have got one. Larson should have been DQ'd. Steve Park should have been DQ'd in the
I
modified
think
race.
even the guy that got the win in the K&N should have been DQ'd because he drove through the second place guys.
Yes.
Oh,
the,
to
guy,
get-
the
okay.
guy that won the race was in third. He pushed
Like,
the
I
second
just-
place guy into the leader.
But even
But
on
the
that
problem was
argument, the fourth place guy was driving the third place
Right,
guy.
and you knew. I mean,
was
once
coming.
the precedent was set on Monday, that was going to be how
That's how
all
it
that was going to
It
go.
was going to go down every
Yeah.
day or every night.
Yeah.
Did you see the interview when they went up to Mike Stefanik?
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, that
Yes,
was
I did.
awesome.
That
you
was
see
that
that?
was
I got-
some of the best
was-
live TV
said
I've
BS,
ever.
right?
Oh yeah. Oh
Did
yeah.
you
Very
see?
blatantly.
Did
Well, you see him
the-
and you look at him like, why are you sticking a mic in this guy's face right
yeah.
now?
Do you
Did you
want to
see-
die?
Did you see the video? I posted it yesterday on Facebook. The video of Jay Leno goofing on Mike Stefanik's video.
No,
You ought to see that.
That's funny. I'm going to have to watch
They
that.
put him. They took his face, his mean face
Right.
from that
Right.
footage, and they put him at like a little kid's birthday party.
Well, I mean,
and he was goofing on him. It was awful.
But you know what?
I mean,
though?
no,
kinda
but-
had a
hey,
temper
listen,
tantrum.
Hey, you know what? But that's still good for racing.
Absolutely.
It's Jay Leno, man. It's still good. man.
yeah, but he was
That's a
goofing
big
on, making him
deal.
look like a
You know,
hillbilly.
Yeah, he was a hillbilly. He said BS on TV. It was,
that was
awesome.
funny. I love the emotion.
It was no worse than Donnie Lee throwing up in his car and them keeping it on him.
Yeah, that was.
That
Bad.
was, I'm like, the guy's puking in his race car, and you're showing it on speed.
You know
Yeah,
what's
that's
funny?
not
I didn't
good.
notice it when I saw it all over the message boards. I had to go back and rewind and look because I missed it.
Yeah, again, I hated it. Like I was at the modified race, and I'm like, what a joke. This is
Yeah.
just a joke. Like
Yeah.
every
It was
race
bad.
is
Modified
gonna,
race was bad.
and it sucked because the modifieds are like
They
I
put
went
on
to
a better
Smyrna.
show than that.
I went to the new Smyrna the next night. One caution in 76
Yeah.
laps. Now, mind you, they had 16 cars, but still,
They put
one
on a much
caution.
better show than that race showed you.
That
Agreed.
showed you that
Unfortunately, it was on live television.
right, and it sucked. And every race that was there wasn't that good. I like the concept of what NASCAR's doing. I just don't like
how
they're doing.
they regulate.
I mean,
it.
I
The track
chatted.
warrants that style racing.
I chatted with a
unfortunately.
couple guys that ran in the race, and they all said shorten the track, make the track so you're not going so fast.
Yes.
and then it slows you down, and then you can actually race a
The
little bit.
straightaways are
Right.
too long.
The straightaways, yeah, they're way too long, so
Yeah.
you get going so
because
fast.
the corners are so tight.
And then you're slamming on the
driving there
brakes.
so hard you
Right.
can't stop.
I mean, the modifieds, every
did you
wreck was
ever-
at a start.
Did you ever think that you would say a 4/10 mile track is too big?
But it's weird because it's a what is it? It's like, you know,
It's a 2/10 drag strip.
it's
it's all it was.
right with a turn. Yeah, I mean,
Yes,
it just
with a hairpin turn.
it just sucked, man. And I was so disappointed because I looked forward to that race. Like that was one of the things I really looked forward to going down there.
Yeah.
Was going to that, and I went to it, and I'm sitting in the stands, and I'm sitting there with Nathan from Oswego Speedway, and the whole time I'm just miserable. I'm like, I paid $50 to come to this race.
Every other tweet he was bitching.
Oh, I'm like, come on! Like there was 91 laps of caution in a 150 lap race. I'm like, don't count the cautions. I don't care. I'll sit here all night. Don't count the caution.
count 'em.
Make them
If
race.
you're gonna have that track,
And then the other stupid
Don't
thing
count
is
the cautions.
NASCAR. If a guy has to be towed off, he has to get out of the car and get in the ambulance because that's a NASCAR
that's a
rule.
NASCAR rule. Yeah.
That's
You gotta
stupid.
get in the-
like
yeah.
who was it? Jamie
I understand
Tomato.
at a big
hit the-
racetrack,
he
but
hit
not
the,
there.
He hit the tire and broke the front end. He's like, I want to fix it. Like, get out. You got to get in the ambulance. He's like, I hit the tire. I can't drive it back in.
Yeah.
You know, they don't get it.
Yeah.
That's the
No,
thing. And I mean, they
NASCAR
just
wants to
didn't get
regulate
it.
everything.
At a place like
Stupid.
that, you got to use your best.
Yeah,
judgment.
and they didn't. So
I
okay.
don't think they use their best judgment across the board in any of those races.
No,
to be honest.
so-
I love the concept,
All right.
though. I will say.
I love the
do.
concept.
I do.
And I hope, you know what I want to see them do next
They
year?
need to make it better.
Do the same thing.
Some
Do,
homework.
do battle at the beach. Do it at New Smyrna. New Smyrna's
you
got pit road. New Smyrna can handle all the cars, and New Smyrna's got a huge grandstand.
Yeah. The
I mean-
problem is they want to add.
but they
Right.
wanted that.
I know,
Daytona. They
I know.
Put
want
out in the
that.
parking lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
Kyle Larson.
Okay.
Kyle
Next
Larson. This is
The
John's
wreck.
time to
Where
shine.
do you want to go first with Kyle Larson?
This isn't
There's
the
a million
dump.
directions
No,
you
we're
can go.
done. This is the dump. This is not the dump. We're done with the dump. We're done with the battle of the beach. We're done. We're moving
No.
on to the flying into the grandstands and people getting hurt.
Yes.
Now-
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle, I know you've got some thoughts on this.
Go ahead.
He did only win 2 races during Speed Weeks.
Yeah.
That was more shocking than anything to me.
Yeah. Well, he won
Because
what?
I
the
thought
mid-
he would win more.
Yeah, he won the midget race. He won a USAC
he
midget
won the
race.
night before the dump
Yeah.
at Smyrna.
And then he won the
midget,
dump.
And then he won
Yeah,
the
and,
dump again.
and
But I think you know what's funny. Him and I were talking about this on the way out. The two people that got the most press this week, Danica Patrick number 1, Kyle Larson
Kyle
number
Larson.
2,
Absolutely.
and it was both.
Everybody
Unfortunately
was
for Kyle
talking about
Larson,
both of them.
it was a negative connection with him. Like the dump started it, and then you got the wreck.
Then the crash.
And the wreck was the
Well,
talk
I
of
th-
everything.
I think that wreck kind of changed the tune of that.
Yeah,
social,
nobody- yeah,
that
yeah.
social media onslaught that he was facing after the dump changed real fast,
No,
real
everybody's
drastically.
immediately on Saturday afternoon. Everybody's tweets and
Hope he's
comments
okay.
on Facebook was karma.
Yeah.
That was the word karma.
I didn't see it, but
Yeah, because that had something to do with
Yeah,
it.
and karma had absolutely nothing to do with that.
Well,
that
exactly.
was strictly Daytona
That's
racing,
racing.
and
There.
bad timing.
Racing
at
it was
that
at the
place.
wrong
you know what?
spot.
Yeah.
As a person that you might not like this, but I do believe in karma. If you're good to people, good things come to you.
I'm
That-
not saying I don't believe
Sorry.
in karma, but that had nothing to do with it.
I don't know. Maybe it did. Who knows?
So all the good
I'm not
karma
God.
that
Well,
he's
must
built.
be all those people in the stands were bad people then. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, goes around, comes
well,
around.
right. So by living that karma theory,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we had talked about this before we went on, and the timing of that incident
It's
at
the
that
worst
particular
possible place
location
that it could hit.
is the worst because of
Yeah.
that gate.
Yeah, and here's what's funny. People on Sunday, when I'm watching the race, they're still standing 3 feet from the fence. Like, idiot. Did you not see it yesterday?
That's
3
been going
feet
on
with-
for years.
with their
Always
face
will,
right on the
always
fence,
has.
looking,
Yeah.
watching like this?
It's one thing if you're at like
People
New
are
Hampshire where they're
dumbasses.
going fast, but they don't fly.
Right.
They're going 200 miles an hour. Okay? If you get hit, it's part of your problem. Now, unfortunately, I think the people that got hurt and that crashed the worst were the camera guy. Because if you looked right where that car hit, there was a camera guy there. And I got to assume that was the guy that got hurt.
My thing about that crash is these accidents are preventable. They continue to put vents on the car to let air get out from underneath it and stuff along those lines. They're doing all the right things with the design, but they need to do something almost in the same vein as the funny car. If you look at the funny car, the taillights will fly backwards, and
Right.
there's a vent to let the air out from underneath
Yes,
the body.
they do.
Right.
And they need to put something like that either below the trunk window or under the taillights, because a spoiler that generates downforce in one direction, when the air goes
Well,
backwards
also
across,
does
That's
the
it's
the
going to
opposite when you
turn
turn it around.
it's going to
Right.
make it lift. And,
Right.
and that's what we've seen.
Yeah.
But I'll
It's
tell
an
you,
upside down airplane.
you know what
Yeah.
aggravates me about with NASCAR regarding this whole situation with the fence? Immediately, what do? They twist it all around and they turn the focus on the fence.
Right.
Not once did they ever put the focus on the real freaking problem here.
They
and that's
couldn't.
the restrictor plate racing.
Oh, well,
Get these stupid cars
Yeah.
off of one another. 43 car packs is not real
But
racing.
here's the problem.
It's too
You're
dangerous.
blocking, though.
Wake
You're blocking.
Up.
That the problem is you're blocking.
That's exactly
And
what
here's
the
the other
problem
thing.
is.
You know what?
That's
Take
not
the-
in every scenario.
Here's
when
the
a
thing out
restrictor
though.
plate
You know
crash.
what? Take the restrictor plates off, and you know what you get? You get 3 guys on the lead lap. The rest of the field's like 5 laps down because
But
that's
you
what
know
used
what?
to happen.
The risk of going through the fence with a car is a hell of a
It's-
lot
Hey,
less.
did
But
they
it
have
happened-
a restrictor plate on it
I
when
don't
Jimmy
care.
Horton went out of Talladega?
I don't care if
No.
it's one
No,
car
they
on the
didn't,
lead lap.
and he still flew.
And he's got the whole field 5 laps down. If it means a car doesn't have an engine go through the fence, then
I
I'm
will
okay
say the
with
fence
it.
did its
'Cause
job
what-
on the
when
engine.
Is it, when is
Absolutely.
it too much? When is
I
it
don't
too much?
think- I
when
think-
the whole car goes over the fence and lands in the stands?
You have to
when
realize
is that
though,
when it finally
But listen,
gets
you have
through?
to realize that
if
just
you
as
take the
dangerous.
restrictor plate off, they're going to go even faster.
Right, and just
You
as
can
it's
slow these
dangerous,
cars
listen,
down
it's
without putting
dangerous
a
for
plate on them.
drivers, and it's going to be dangerous for fans. Racing, I don't care what
It's
track you
always
go
going
to.
be dangerous.
It's
I
an
understand
assumption of
that.
risk. It's no different than being blinded when you're hit by a foul ball
But
in the
you- or
walkway
whatever,
at Dodger
right,
Stadium.
exactly.
It's
you
the same
have
thing.
a
Right.
much higher risk at these bad 25 car pileups when you got 43 cars in a pack.
I personally think
can't
it's more
race like
more of a
that.
trial
No kidding.
issue
To
than it
ask-
is.
I agree.
To ask
Than it is.
43 guys to
You don't
go
see that on the backstretch.
200 miles an
No.
hour for 5 hours and not make a
think,
mistake,
again,
it's impossible.
I mean, the tri-oval thing, you're coming down, it's banked, and that all that adds to it. If you
It's like a
take that
bowl.
and flatten that out, I don't think you get guys flying like
nope.
that.
Take the plates off and make these cars.
I
you
don't
can
think that's
slow
gonna
these
work.
cars down without a without a
I-
restrictor plate.
I don't think that's going to
Absolutely,
work.
they can, but they won't.
I don't think it's going to work.
I don't
You can
think
do
just
it.
I don't think removing that restrictor
Well, I
plate's
know
going
that's
to
the
work.
problem. They
doesn't-
need to get rid of the plate
'Cause
and
you're
get these
still gonna
cars
have a draft.
off of one another.
They're still going to be together because guys are still
Not in
going
a pack like that.
But
Those
you're
packs
still
never
gonna have to
existed
dra-
until they put the plate. on
Okay,
there.
the plate was on the Cup cars, and they weren't in a pack. They were all just single file.
What?
The Cup cars were
What
not.
about 'em?
The Cup cars were single file that whole race. Very rarely did they race.
Yeah,
two,
but
three
when they
wide.
wanted to bunch up, they did.
But it
The
wasn't.
reason they weren't is because they didn't want to.
No, because they couldn't. The new cars you can't bunch. Jimmy Johnson was the only one that made the bottom go, and it took him 150
Yeah,
laps
so
to
right
actually
at
do
the
something.
end when they were trying to make that inside line, they were 3 wide. All
Yeah, but
over
it
the
didn't
friggin'
work.
place.
But it's still.
But they didn't go
They didn't-
anywhere. They
right,
couldn't
they
get-
couldn't race.
Exactly. That's
Jim-
my
Jimmy
point. You need
Johnson-
to get them off of one another. Get rid of the
But
plates.
no, then get
You-
rid of Daytona. Get
you-
rid of
Yeah, that's
Talladega.
what you're telling me. You get rid of the.
You
get rid of
the
super
plates.
speedways.
There's a lot of things you can do to make these cars so they don't handle so well. The downforce, you talk about the downforce. Get rid of the stupid spoiler. The car isn't locked down on the racetrack. Then they have to actually go in the corner and they have to lift because the car isn't going to handle the way it does right now. Right now, it's
No,
locked to the racetrack.
even if you take that off, dude, Daytona, the things like this, man, it's like 40 degrees banking.
Yeah.
You're
I know what
31.
it looks like.
You
You
slam it
don't-
in the
There's
corner, it
ways
sucks
you can
the
make
track.
these cars get off of each other.
I don't care. It happens. It's an accident. It's a wreck. It's going to happen in racing, and sometimes they're going to go off the ground and hit the fence. It's just going to happen.
And besides all the safety factors of it, it's not real racing. What race do you go to besides Talladega and Daytona twice a year? Any other motorsports event do you see 43 cars wadded up in a pack?
Well, we only
Imagine
start
going to
24
your
in New
local
York.
dirt track and see it. That's
And
not racing. Racing's not like that. They're supposed to be spread apart.
Okay,
No, they're not.
So on
if
the
they're spread apart, it's called,
Okay.
It's-
they're
it's
single
called-
file.
The only
yeah.
time
boring.
they're packed like that is when they throw the green flag.
So let's take.
But
that.
don't we call? But here's the other thing. Don't you call it a good race when their guys are racing 3 wide for the lead at a dirt track?
Yep.
And they go like that for 15 laps? Yes.
Darryl Lanigan, Billy Moyer, and Tim McCready were separated by what?
Inches.
But
Yeah.
that's not the
Yeah,
same style
nothing,
racing
maybe.
what we're talking about here.
It's-
We're not talking about 11 rows of 3
But John, let me put it to you this way: if
where
you're
they're all
saying
inches apart. That doesn't happen.
if you're saying that, let's go flip it to the dirt track and flip it to the new style surface and the old
by the way,
style
the buzzer
surface.
rang. Just
Yes.
final thoughts.
So, yep. Finish your thought, and then we got to go down to Danica.
Basically, I can sit here and say I don't like the new track surface that they put on in New York, and I think that they do it on purpose because that's what people want. I don't think that that's real racing. I like getting hit in the face with mud. I like having all those
Go to
cars
Bubba.
be all about power.
Right.
But and like you said, it was great racing.
Yeah.
So you can make 100 different arguments 100 different ways, and I don't think it changes
I
anything.
think it's just like the guy hitting the. To me, it's just like the wreck that happened with
Hitting
Gordon.
the-
Hit that
the
one
embutment.
spot. Things sometimes happen, and you can prepare for everything, but it doesn't mean it's going to be completely safe. Like those race
Nobody
cars
ever
are.
said it was.
No, but I'm saying it's not completely safe for the spectators. It's not completely safe for the drivers, and that's inherently in our sport that is dangerous. And
Assumption of risk.
and that's why we all go and watch
So-
because
Yep.
right. I mean that's the part of the excitement, the speed, and what can happen.
and the wrecks.
And
so Danica Patrick sits on the pole. sits top 3. She
How
becomes
many,
one of
now
those.
first,
Don't say
let
it
me
like-
ask you this.
Don't say it
How
like that
many
again.
dirty jokes were made because she was on the pole?
Sits on the front row at the Daytona 500.
There you go.
Was the fastest qualifier. She gets up there and leads. Is now one of 13 people on the planet to have led the Indianapolis 500 and the Daytona 500. She made a pass at speed, and she ended up finishing third. And she didn't pull out a line, knowing full well that no one was
where'd
going to
she
go
end
with
up?
her.
She ended up eighth.
Eighth.
Yeah,
She
ran,
was third. She ran third.
Yeah,
She ran
she,
entire-
I,
on the entire-
I should clarify
That's
that.
all right.
She ran top 5 just
She
about
ran
all
top
day,
the entire
and
race.
then she
She did
was
a
8th at
great
the finish.
job.
Yeah, she
You
did a
know,
wonderful job.
and you know, you can get on her and give her crap because she's only there because of this, but. Look at all the other guys that are only there because of money. Paul Menard, you think he
Exactly.
earned it? His dad's name's
The
on the
only
freaking
reason
car.
Paul Menard's in NASCAR is because his father's got
Right, and exactly,
the
and it's
business.
no different. Like
No
here's what
disrespect to him, but let's face
right.
it, that's why he's there.
I honestly, I
Did you
just
st-
want to see
did you hit the
Danica.
start button.
Yeah, I just want to see Danica win a damn race, so now everybody can shut up
Shut up and be done with it.
and done. And just treat her
I
like
mean,
another driver.
Tony Stewart would not have her in that car if he didn't think that she could do it, and that's a pretty
And,
good
you
vote
know,
of confidence.
and Tony, there was something stated from Tony at Speed Weeks that he saw something in her and the way she drove an Indy car that he could relate to as somebody who's driven those
Right.
cars, and he could see something in her style that she was aggressive and she
Right,
had
and now
driving
let's
ability.
be honest. It helps that she brings money. She brings
Absolutely.
GoDaddy.
Absolutely.
yeah, because with
That
the
helps.
Stewart deal,
And
Listen, you
know,
and I
people,
could go get a ride if we had money.
right, and I think people are saying no, it's because she's hot, she's a chick. No, it's she brings GoDaddy.
she's marketable.
Right,
And they
that's
can find a
she
lot
is a
hotter
good
chick.
market. Right, and that's the thing. You have to bring sponsorship. You got to bring all that to
Right,
the table.
with Tony's deal, her being there, I wholeheartedly believe that he believes that she can get the job done.
Right.
Having said that, he looks at her and she's got no sponsor behind her, no money behind her.
It's
You
a
think
different
she's
deal.
in that car. I don't
I don't
think
think
she's
so
in
either.
that car.
I mean, that isn't
But that
the case
doesn't
for
mean
a
he
lot
doesn't
of-
believe in her.
That's
You
the
got-
case for a lot of
money
guys,
carries
though.
a lot of it.
Right. And I think that's the predominant factor
Money is
here.
the
You have
driving
to look
factor.
at the money in NASCAR now. And
Right.
Yeah.
even those guys said it in on the broadcast. They said how
at that
important
14
it is to bring money to the table.
Look
If
at
you
that
don't-
14-year-old. That I think he was 14 years old. He finished third. He was in the blue and green Krispy Kreme's car in the ASA race.
Right.
He was on the brakes, but then he got shoved into the leader,
Right.
so he got kind of a raw deal. But that kid has been spit and polished by his father like crazy, and eventually he's gonna get better rides. But
Right.
for no other reason that he's got the look.
Right.
And
Right.
and somebody's gonna latch onto him. Krispy Kreme may be it.
Right.
And they're gonna ride him right up the ladder.
Right.
And,
And I
he's
mean-
gonna be able to bring
I
money.
mean, you
and
look
get-
at a
get
kid like
rides.
Kyle Larson. There's very few kids like that now that are doing it on pure talent.
And there's very few.
And that's what's
very
special
few
about that
people.
kid.
Right.
You
There's
ask
no driving
anybody.
force of money
No.
behind him
No,
to
his
get
driving
where,
force
to
is his
get where he's
talent.
got.
Right.
Now he can get some driving force with some money behind
Right.
Because
Right.
he's got
Now-
Ganassi. He's got a lot of people behind him,
Right.
like Gordon and Stewart.
Right.
And
And then
Kane
they
Well,
like
now
him.
he-
And
they're
But now he
speaking
has
good about
to.
him now.
right now it's
He's got
you know,
the driving force of money that can help him.
now and his
But he
deal.
didn't before
Here's
that.
what'll happen if he doesn't produce in a year, maybe two.
He's done.
He's done. He's out.
oh yeah, he'll disappear
Because he-
on
Unless
that
he
side
comes
of
up
it.
with money.
Right.
He'll disappear on that side of it, but he'll still be fine because we know the dirt talent. Is
Right.
there.
Right.
Right. Right.
He
You
can
know,
make a hell of a living off of
Right,
that
and that's
if
a
he
good
had
thing
to.
about a kid like Kyle Larson is he has so much talent and ability on every surface he gets on. Even if he does not make NASCAR,
Yeah.
he's going to be fine. He's going to earn a living
Yeah.
Right.
racing cars.
But I really believe this kid's the real deal, and he's
I mean, we
he's
all
gonna do
we
his
all seen him
share
race,
in
and
the
I
top
think
levels
I mean
of
I think
NASCAR.
everybody it was a big discussion on the Dirt Track Digest message board. I was reading the NASCAR section today, which I don't normally do because I don't care, but. And it was all the Danica arguments and this and that. And I didn't get involved with it. It's just fun to read different people's opinions.
yeah.
Because some people are like, oh, she's only hot, because she's got a set of boobs and that's all.
But she doesn't.
No,
but-
she's got the skeeter bikes.
Okay, but anyways, but
But you're no, I
no,
understand
but you know what I'm
you're
saying? Like, that's why she's there. But again, it's NASCAR now is so motivated by you have to bring me something for me to give you something,
right,
and that's what's going on. If you
But
can bring the sponsor, you can keep the ride,
and that's what NASCAR is now.
right? And if you think teams are you think GoDaddy's lining up the back Ryan Newman on the Tony Stewart team, no, they're back. They're there to back
They're
Danica.
backing Danica, and
That's
that's
who
it.
they've hitched their wagon to, and that's who they're going to go with. And she's done what she's needed to do to keep them. And
Oh yeah.
And
Hey.
everything she drives, no matter where she's
it's got GoDaddy. And I'll tell you this:
nationwide, whatever
you
team
know,
she's going
you know,
to,
you know what
says
really
GoDaddy.
impressed me
Mhm.
when I was in Daytona? I saw a ton of people wearing Danica shirts, but most of the people I saw wearing Danica shirts were kids. Like, and if that means that she's drawing kids to the sport,
That's a good thing.
I'm
huge.
fine with it. And
Absolutely
I will
huge.
say, her shirts were pretty nice looking shirts. Like for looking at, I like the green and kind of like the green on this
I had
Brady Bacon
I had a
sweatshirt.
Danica shirt sitting next to me while I was watching the
Yeah,
500.
yeah, and I'm like, you know what? if I ever bought this, I would get ripped. But I'm not gonna buy it. But it's a cool looking shirt. But I'm fine with anything that brings kids into the sport. And if we need Danica to do that, so be it.
And if that's all she ever does for the sport,
I'm okay with it.
That's fine. She
Yeah,
could never win a
She's
damn
bringing
thing
a lot of popularity.
if
Right.
she brings us.
I know we got to
news.
get off of this.
That's
but
fine.
I always watch a bunch of shows on SNY.
Right.
Being a Mets fan, they have shows on there like Loudmouths, Wheelhouse, things
Right.
like that. Those guys, Monday afternoon,
Talked about
they were talking about the Daytona 500. Why? Because they were talking about Danica.
right.
And I've been watching this channel and these shows for a few years. They don't ever
talk about it.
Never.
motorsports.
Right, so-
nothing.
so-
So the fact I know they were talking about Danica. I get
But it's
that,
still
but
a
it was
good
still
thing.
talking about racing
Right.
in a world that they don't ever
talk about racing. Right.
racing.
So I think you got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah.
Being in the sport, people are going to get upset. Well, this guy's got talent. He should have made it. She doesn't deserve it. But sorry, if you don't bring money, that's just how it is. That's the corporate America NASCAR world that we live in. It's a corporate deal now.
Yep.
It's not like it used to be where Joe Schmo can put a car together and go down there and run a couple of races. Now, I mean, look, you had 45 cars go to the Daytona 500. Now, there was some other
Lowest
reasons.
amount ever in the history of the
Right.
race.
Now, some of the reason is, they don't have the cars built yet. I know you couldn't buy the
Yes,
diecast.
and that was the excuse.
How
they were
funny is
giving.
this? You couldn't buy the diecast. We
'Cause
went
they
to,
don't have it
we were
done
walking
yet.
around, because the car came out so late,
They
they could only get 10 cars at a time.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't produce enough of them. So my buddy's a Kevin Harvick fan, and we were talking to the woman. She's like, I got like 4 in yesterday or 4 in a week ago. They were gone the day I got them. She goes, we can't get them.
Right.
We can't get them because, again,
They're just starting to
they
produce.
just it takes them 180 something days to produce those cars. Because of that, they couldn't get them in.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's part of it. You got to let these teams, these bigger teams, go through their stockpile, pass them on, and then you'll
Right.
see more guys.
Yep.
And I want to bring up one other thing. Then I'll leave this. But it was funny. We were sitting in the wing house eating chicken wings and yeah, because I'm a chicken wing guy, can't you tell? And we're sitting in the wing house. And we're talking about Brian Keselowski, and he's qualifying. He goes out and he runs 189 or something like that. We're like, man, he sucks. And I'm like, wait, he's going 189 miles an hour, and we're saying he
and
sucks.
he's 9 miles an hour slower than the rest of the
I
field.
know he's still going 189 miles an
Exactly.
hour.
You mentioned that Carl Edwards.
Oh, that was a bad week.
Carl
Five
Edwards
cars.
had a bad week. but-
4 cars.
Hold on. Let, you know what?
Five.
But Brian Keselowski, his car didn't start for qualifying.
Right. And Brad,
And-
and
no.
hold on.
And
Let me
Carl's
do
down
this.
there.
Let's start this, and we'll go on to the random facts of the Daytona week. Okay, 5 minutes on that.
All right, and then after that, let's.
We'll go Watkins, Glen, Oswego.
Yeah.
Okay. So
then we'll be on our way out.
yeah, we'll be pretty close. Yeah, because we're getting close. So
I was impressed that Carl Edwards was walking down pit road to do something different.
yeah,
And realizes this kid's car's not starting. And he's down there
Helping him.
running
Like,
behind that car, pushing it, and it didn't start. And he stops and he reaches in and he goes,
try this.
Try this. And you
Boom.
turn
There he
around
goes.
and
Yeah.
they count the guy out.
Right.
And
For
next-
as bad of a week as he had,
that's pretty impressive.
yeah,
Five
Carl
cars.
Edwards. Yeah. Well, if you look at total, it was 4 cars.
From the Bud shootout. Well,
Testing.
and the
practice,
testing and all that crap. Yeah,
everything.
there was like 5
he
cars.
ran the 5th car or 4th car. Yeah,
Five
because he
cars.
wrecked him.
By
he
the
wrecked
end
in
of the
testing.
500, it was 5 cars.
Right. He wrecked in testing. He wrecked in one of the shootouts. Right. Or practice
in the
for
shootout.
or in the
practice
shootout.
For the shootout.
practice for
He
shootout,
wrecked
and then
every time he went on a track.
yeah, and then he went out, and then in the 500 he wrecked. So
There's
he had,
only one race he didn't crash.
He had
in.
a magnet.
And that
from
was a
all
nationwide
directions.
race, and that was because he didn't freaking run it.
Right.
right. That is a tough week when you start out.
After,
My question is,
With
at
a
what
car
point?
that they supposedly can't
when-
get fast enough.
Right.
you
When
say,
did
"I'm
when
done"?
did you call and say, "Hey guys, we're going to need another truck full of cars"?
Yeah.
I think maybe
Carl,
after
it's Thursday.
testing,
Yeah, we're going to need another truck full
Well,
of cars.
talk about the new car, and these teams can't get these new cars built
and he
fast
just
enough.
rifled
Yeah.
through
That's
5.
why the field
Yeah.
field count was low at Daytona. That was the excuse.
Now my question is, it going to
There's
be
only 43 cars entered for this weekend's race, so everybody will be starting.
so? That's
There'll be no go home.
no
Nobody's going
go
home
or
this
go
week.
homers.
Speaking
You got to be
of-
happy. JJ Yeley had a pretty good run.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yes.
speaking of random facts, how
Yes.
about JJ Yaley's
I
finish?
can't believe it took you guys this freaking long to bring it up.
I figured you'd bring it up. I
10th
didn't think
place,
we,
man.
I know.
Kids ate free on Monday. JJ's Mondays, Golden Corral. All kids ate free.
He tried it. And they told him no.
Because he finished in the top 10. We don't have a Golden Corral.
birthday.
yeah.
Hey, wait a minute. That's my excuse.
We don't have a Golden Corral. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10th
so
place, man.
that was, and that's what's
I
funny
was
about Daytona.
So freaking
You
happy.
never know
Who
who's
it's
going to
gonna
win.
be.
Hey, I got a question.
yeah.
Is it wrong to
Restrictor plates are a crapshoot.
yeah, it's about random things. Trevor Bain, he had a tough week, leading the duel and got dumped.
Yeah.
Then they wrecked a good car, and he was scheduled. He would have started up front had he not gotten wrecked, right? And then it was like,
Well, if he finishes up front in the duel.
yeah, he ran well and then
started up front. But
yeah, to the back.
He dominated the whole first half of that duel.
Yep. He
Pit
had a-
stops. screwed him up.
Yeah, he had a tough week. But
And then he got wrecked in the 500.
Yep, tough week for him. I will say though, I did buy my first ever diecast late model, Trevor Bayne, and here's why: it was autographed. An autographed Trevor Bayne dirt late model, and a Tyler Walker sprint car.
Oh, good grief. Did they give it to you?
No, actually, the guy took $10 off of both, so I got them for
That's
$20
cool.
cheaper.
Not
So
bad.
I was gonna say, hey, listen, this dude's going to jail for like smuggling coke. This car's really not worth
Yeah.
anything. But
Did the car come with
Smoking?
dreadlocks
Did you
off
say
the
smoking
wing?
coke?
no, snorting coke.
Oh.
No, what'd I say? Transporting coke or whatever.
No, it didn't come with dreadlocks, but it did come with 2 complimentary Crown Victoria police cars.
Yeah, and a spike strip.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Oh,
But
we're
it's
awful.
okay. He'll be
Oh, we're
in jail.
awful.
There's
That's
nothing
bad
I can do about it.
Yeah, I know. Hey, it happens, man. It happens. So
Did you see the the super modified that's in the International Motor Racing Research Center? Did you see the
No.
picture of that? You got to go online. It's
I'll check it
cool,
out.
man.
did you get that from somebody? A link from somebody?
Actually, I got that from the newspaper. They sent press releases out, but coming up on March 2nd, I just want to let everybody know there's going to be at the International Motor Racing Research Center. It's right in downtown. It's on Decatur Street in Watkins Glen.
Okay.
Dick Berggren is going to be part of a panel that is discussing super modified racing at Oswego Speedway.
That's cool.
specifically those 2 topics, and they're talking about the track and how it's pretty much the mecca for super modified racing, and it's just cool, man. You gotta jump online. There's gonna be a link in the post on the WordPress page, podcast.fingerlakes1.com. So it's one of those things that we want to make sure we get the word out. We let everybody know that it's happening. And
When is it?
that's March 2nd. It's going to be a Sunday.
That's this weekend.
Sunday.
Or I'm sorry, Saturday.
It's this
right? Yeah,
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday. I misspoke.
I will not be there.
No.
Going out on a limb on that one, and I'm not going to be there.
It's racing. Listen, I've already determined it's Mike Mallett racing
Oh,
season.
Mike Mallett is
It's-
on the road. On the road, it's the Mike Mallett Rolling Road Show.
My kid's gonna have to stop having birthdays this summer. It's Mike's turn to not
you
be here.
got to be back in business.
Your
I mean,
your kid's older than I am now, I think. Isn't it?
Kid's
His
older
kid's
than the
older than
4
he
of us
is.
sitting in the room. Are you kidding me?
But next week, we got Tanner Robinson. We're going to try and get Joey Gramis. That's going to do it for this edition of the 31st Lap. Guys, we appreciate you hanging out with us, and we'll see you right back here again next week.
Shalom.
www.fingerlakes1.com